Let's say you were in a music biopic. You probably think you'd be the misunderstood genius. Wrong, you wouldn't. Not because you can't sing, not because you don't have talent. It's because music biopics don't run on common sense. They run on rules, illogical rules. Rules that can turn one childhood moment into a lifetime of mental torture. And today, we're exposing every single one. This is the 10 stupid rules of every music biopic. Make sure you stay until the end and tell me honestly, would you survive fame?
I'll do it.
Rule 1. Childhood scene must explain everything. Every biopic starts with the main character as a child, usually looking out of a window with a glimmer of hope in their eye. Or getting shouted at. Or watching someone else perform and realizing that's going to be my entire personality. Because in a biopic, your childhood cannot just be normal. No, you need one scene that explains the next 50 years of your life. Nobody ever has a childhood scene where they're just playing FIFA and eating chicken nuggets. Because apparently, if your early life was too normal, the movie can't legally continue. The audience needs to know exactly why this person becomes famous, broken, misunderstood, impossible to work with, and somehow still gets a standing ovation at the end. So the film gives us one tiny childhood moment and asks us to believe it explains the entire adult. Which is insane, because if one childhood moment defined my whole future, I'd still be trying to summon Exodia. But this is a biopic, so once childhood has done the emotional damage, it's time to meet the person responsible for most of it. Rule 2. The parent must be inspirational and traumatizing. In a music biopic, the parents can never just be supportive. They also have to be a Division I hater. Of course, they have to be the reason the main character becomes great, and also the reason they'll need therapy later. They're either standing in the corner saying, "You were born for this," or they're shouting, "You disgrace the family name." And sometimes they even do both in the same scene. That's the music biopic parent special. And the film always wants you to understand them too. Like, yes, he was strict, cold, demanding, terrifying, impossible, a narcissist, and left his son the first chance he got. But it was really for the greater good. Brother, that is not character depth. That is a villain origin story with a family discount. Deep down, all they want is for the traumatizing parent to finally say, "I'm proud of you."
So cute!
Which they usually do at the worst possible time. Because in music biopics, emotional damage is just stage prep. And that brings us to Rule 3. The first performance must shock everyone. Because in a music biopic, nobody can just be pretty good at the start. No. They have to walk into some tiny church hall, school talent show, dusty bar, or family gathering, open their mouth, and suddenly the whole room acts like they just witnessed electricity being invented. Everyone's staring like... And this is where the film starts treating talent like a nuclear event, which is great timing, because every musical genius needs one mysterious industry person to appear from the shadows and start acting like they just discovered oil.
America, fuck yeah!
Rule 4. The manager must appear like a wizard. Because in every music biopic, the second talent appears, some Peter Pettigrew-looking scout must latch on to the shiny new toy. Nobody invited him. Nobody knows where he came from. He's just there, wearing a suit, holding a drink, looking at a child like he's just found Bitcoin in 2009. Everyone else is clapping like, "Wow, that kid can sing." But the manager is already calculating albums, tours, merch, a Netflix documentary in 30 years. I mean, Netflix wasn't a big streaming platform back then, but hey, shut up. And he always says something like, "That kid's got something." No shit, Gandalf. We all just heard the child summon Whitney Houston. But now the manager walks over and starts making promises. "I can make you a star. I know people. You just need to trust me." Brother, the last person who said trust me was the traumatizing parent, and they haven't even told this kid Santa isn't real yet. But of course, everyone agrees. Because in a music biopic, a mysterious man in a suit is like prime Mia Khalifa. That is not a red flag. That is destiny. And destiny says, sign here and don't read the terms and conditions.
Me with the floor show, kicking with your torso. Boys getting high and the girls even more so. Wave your hands if you're not with a man. Can I kick it?
Yes, you can!
Rule 5. The record label must be evil. Because once destiny says, sign here, it's time to meet the real villain of every music biopic, the record label. And the record label is never just a company. No, it's a ticket to 95% of your entire career's royalties. We believe in you is industry language for, we believe in Benjamin Franklin's. The artist walks in thinking they've made it. Money, fame, studio time, a tour bus. But really, they've just signed a contract written by Mephisto's accountant.
I've seen this one.
Mark!
He's wired in.
But don't worry, they'll have 14 long years with this label to feel bad about their decision. Plenty of time. And now, the artist is famous, exhausted, confused, and legally owned by a Swiss offshore bank account. Destiny arrives, because every music biopic needs one magical moment. Rule 6. The big hit must arrive randomly. A bit of luck is needed when the artist accidentally creates the song that changes everything. And it is never normal. They don't sit down, write 400 bad drafts, test melodies, rewrite lyrics, and slowly build a masterpiece. No, someone taps a glass, a train goes past, a kettle boils, their friend drops a spoon, and suddenly…
That's quite a cool riff, actually.
Wait, then they run to the piano like the fairy godmother. 3 notes later, everyone in the room knows they've made history. Brother, that was not songwriting. That was genius. You are witnessing a royalty check being born. Now go and get the midwives. Within 40 seconds, the whole studio has turned into Live Aid. Because in music biopics, hit songs don't get written. They fall out of the sky like the Death Note, which is great for the artist, but terrible for their ego. Rule 7. The artist must become impossible to work with, because after the big hit arrives, the artist officially stops being a normal person. They're not just talented anymore, they're a genius. And once the word genius gets thrown around enough, ego enters the building. Suddenly, they're showing up 3 hours late to rehearsals, canceling interviews, firing people, wearing sunglasses indoors, and saying things like,
Queen is whatever I say it is!
let's all calm down. But now everyone around them is scared to say anything. The manager won't challenge them, the record label won't challenge them, the entourage definitely won't challenge them. So the artist keeps getting worse. They spiral out of control. At this point, this isn't an artist. It's a haunted toddler with a platinum record. And because nobody else will say it, the best friend finally has to step in.
My name is Robbie Williams! This is my band! And for the next 2 hours, your ass is mine!
Rule 8. The best friend must tell them they're an asshole. Because by this point in the music biopic, fame has fully cooked our artist. They're not just talented anymore, they're difficult. Fame is a hell of a drug, as is cocaine, which they're usually addicted to. And everyone around them is too scared to say anything. The manager won't say it, the record label definitely won't say it because chaos is making them money. So it has to be the best friend, the one person who knew them before the weird hairstyles. They finally say, "You're a bit of a dick, mate," and they keep going. "You're not the person I used to know." Finally, "You were never good at Call of Duty. Take that back right now!" Friendship ruined. The star spirals out of control. Because in a music biopic, self-awareness arrives a little late, which is perfect timing, because now the love interest is about to say the line every biopic relationship has been building toward. Rule 9. Money and fame couldn't buy love. In a music biopic, the love interest has one job: to find our star at their lowest and tell them, "I need someone who chooses me."
What about us? What about everything we've been through?
To be fair, yes, they're right. Our star has been a complete liability and alienated all of his family and friends through fame, alcohol, and drugs. They missed dinners, anniversaries, Season 8 of Game of Thrones.
Best season ever!
Yeah, but the tour was going really well. Wrong answer. At this point, love isn't enough. The mansion is empty. The awards are meaningless. The phone doesn't ring. And the artist realizes the most tragic truth of all. Money and fame are worthless without love around you. Which is crazy, because it definitely bought everything else. But now they've lost the relationship, the friendship, and their sense of self. There's only one thing left to do.
Light him up. Hell is gone and heaven's here. There's nothing left for you to fear. Shake your ass, come over here. Now scream.
Rule 10. The final performance fixes everything. Because we all make mistakes, 20 years of them in some cases, but music speaks to the soul and heals all things when done right.
Except for herpes. That shit'll come back with you.
And suddenly, the whole movie is like, is this redemption? Is it? Because if it is, we need to remember the label owns 95% of it. But the music starts. The drums rumble. The guitar sings its sweet tune. The audience roars. The camera cuts between every person they've hurt like the concert is a group apology email. And by the final chorus, we're all richer having heard such beauty. The parent finally understands. The love interest smiles. The best friend forgives them. And finally, the artist realizes who they truly are. What a journey. What a life. What a crazy train. Shout out to you, Ozzy. Gone but never forgotten. And then the screen fades to black. And the ending text tells us their legacy lives on. And there you have it, the 10 stupid rules of every music biopic. But tell me honestly, did you survive the fame? Or would you be crying in a dressing room by Act 3? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content just like this. And let me know below, what logic do we need to expose next?